Okay, so I am in here, and I got to be careful because I have a lot of pins facing a certain direction. But my quilt top is fully supported. I have my walking foot on and have already done it. And I am aiming to be, there's a hole in my walking foot that I can see my strip in. And I'm aiming to be right in the center of that. Okay, that is actually a little less than a quarter of an inch. And it's actually closer to like an eighth of an inch, which will be good. But because the walking foot draws both of them together, it's actually going pretty good. Flannel and fleece are very nice to sew on. They're not all that difficult at all. You just want to check and make sure the back is okay. And it is. There's no bumps or loops or anything. So if you need to, always remember. Now, because I've already quilted the other, the backing's pretty much already going to be where it needs to be, but I do need to make sure everything moves at the same time, which is why I've still got this grip on the back. Because the top, while it is pinned on, it's not sewn on yet, and it can shift on me. And another reason for doing it the width I am is the way that I've got it pinned. I'm not going to run over it with my needle. I'm not going to hit it. And let's get to this corner and then we'll pivot. Move that down some. Because we're coming over on a bump, I want to make sure that my fleece is lightened or straightened. Okay, let's test and see that I've taken it far enough over. Yes, that's perfect. And now I didn't need a back stitch it or anything. Did I even change my bobbin? Nope. I've got blue. Oh well. That is not good. Let's bring this up. Change my bobbin. See? Everybody does it. So I wound a new one. Take over. And right now I'll just start where this is. And then later I can get back to doing that other one. Now again, you don't have to do a straight stitch. You can do a zigzag. You can do whatever kind of stitch you want. It is up to you. There are no quilt police. I am, however, going to get it right on the edge of that end so I don't double stitch it anywhere. Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to follow this around, finish it up for this first run, then I'll come back. Okay, this is done. I've stitched it down, top and bottom all together. I still have the pins in the corners here, okay? I have not taken them out at all. Now, I do need to now deal and address with this part that has the holes in it, okay? So I've got my press cloth down here, and I've got stitch witchery. Now what this does is it glues on both sides. It's a glue for both sides. And I have cut it as long as both of the holes are from one side to the other, since both of the holes are at the same spot. And I am tucking them underneath my seam, okay? Right there. Okay, then I'm tucking that back, and I'm going to push that back over it. Now the one thing, and my iron's heating, the one thing that Fleece does not like really is to be ironed, but we need to iron this to close those holes. So I am actually going to flip this over to this side, because I know I've got the other side, and that's got the most protection down there. I'm actually going to put, I don't know if this will work, but Fleece does not like to be ironed that well, even if you use a press cloth. So I am going to kind of like give it a little extra padding here and see if I can press with this padding. I'm making sure that all of that's covered. Then here's my press cloth. Okay? Because I don't want this fleece to look flattened, and it certainly will. Now, stitch witchery, thankfully, is you can just press it for like 5 to 7 seconds with steam. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's see how well that is. Because this batting is taking up all of this steam. Okay. And I'm not going to try to pull it apart, but oh yeah, protecting both sides. It still has, yeah, it looks a little flat, but it doesn't look, there's no marks in it. And that's what an iron, a hot iron, will do on fleece, is it will just completely flatten it. Okay. Now, if I had not cut holes in this, I would have just stitched around one more time on the other side of my bump here, so that this raw edge here would be completely enclosed. So what I am going to do instead, and now that I have this nice line to quilt by, okay, to stitch by, I am going to put some red in my bobbin, and I am going to use some more of this bobbin thread in my top. So I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to sew on the bottom now with a wide zigzag stitch. And it doesn't have to be a very tiny zigzag stitch. It can be a wide one. And I'm going to play with that and see what I like, because I've got to make sure I catch both sides of this. Now, even though I've used the stitch witchery to kind of hold it down, that's not going to last through a bunch of washings. Okay? Stitch witchery, with the heat of the dryer when it's drying, will eventually ungum itself and come apart. Now, yes, this will not fray, but it will just pull back on itself, and you'll expose that seam and the raw edges. So I'm just going to do a light zigzag, a wide one, but not very tight, not stacked. I'm going to have it apart some. And I'm going to try that. So I need to wind a bobbin of red that I used on the top to put on the top while I stitch with the bobbin thread on the bottom. Does that make sense? I hope so. Once I get everything set, I'll come back. All right, I have it set. I have found my stitch length. I really just stitched on this pressed piece of batting until I got how I liked it. Now I'm starting just before my cut areas. And the way this is actually going to be is just on or a little past that edge. And because it's got so much weight, again, support your quilt. Luckily, the way I'm doing this is I will actually start on the point first. So I'm making sure it's covering that hole. And because I am working on the back side, I do want to make sure that my front piece here isn't flipping over, okay? And you can kind of feel that. I mean, once you get it, you'll be able to kind of tell how that is. But again, it's on my walking foot, and I am gently helping it through. I'm not pulling it. I am holding it and making sure it advances, but I'm not giving a good tug. And I am past my cut pieces now. So now I just going like the Energizer Bunny. Making sure I've got that same stitch length or width away from the edge. Now you can actually do serpentine if you want. I mean, it's your quilt. Since most of mine's angular except for the top stitching or the quilting, which is basically top stitching. I'm just going to go straight this way. And I just got to be careful now because I can't see my pins. I can feel them. To remove them, and if I want, I can move them to the back side. Do I have any others? Nope, it's just these two guys. And then flip it. Very carefully pull it around. And can you see? I mean, just a nice zigzag. Because it is a zigzag, you are going to see more of it than the stitch impression where it's just going to be a line. Just keep that into account. Okay, once I finish this, I'll get right back around to you. Here we go. Let's see if I can show you the front and then the back here. So it's a pretty stitch. Now, this is what you'd call slinky. So it's not always going to stay the same. Don't fret about it. That is the nature of fleece. It just wobbles. I am going to get all my things here. So the next thing to do is I'm going to trim my edges to whatever this came out to. And that way it'll all be even. Then we'll go to the next stage. Now I do know at the back of this one corner, it's going to be short. That's okay. Let me see if I can show this to you. It's going to be short. That's okay. It's right here at the corner. It's not going to make a difference much when we finish. So let's see. That is at 2.5. Actually, it is probably still 2.5. So I'm going to do it to 2.25 from the cut edge, since that hasn't moved much. And the reason I'm not worried much about this corner is, remember, I've got this edge here and this edge here kind of going out. So it's going to have that fullness there. All right. So let me actually move this out of the way. And my drink so I don't knock it over. I do tend to remove my cords if I can. And just slide them over something, mainly because it's very difficult to move those. Moving the machine is a whole lot easier to move than to mess with all the cords and stuff. And this will give me my space to do my trimming. I'm just gonna make it straight out. And then I'll come back and see you when I'm finished for the next phase. All right, so here we go. If we don't have this all enclosed, that is okay, okay? It's gonna have a row of stitching and a row of zigzags. So it is not gonna go beyond that. Line up your corners very nicely. And this is with your rotary cutter. I do like a sunburst. I have one right down the center, and then one at an angle, and the next one right off this edge. Okay. Then you want to make sure the end gets it. And sometimes when I'm down here, I can feel the edge of the batting, and that's okay. As long as I don't go past my stitching and cut through that, I'm good. And I'm doing these, I don't have it marked, I'm doing them anywhere between 1/4 to 3¼ inches, okay? They're not set, but that gives me a nice little ruffle at the edge. So this is perfect for like a little girl's quilt or something like that. Even the guys, you know, a little boy's quilt, it might be cute for that too. There goes my ruler. Yeah. And this is my edge that has this short piece here, okay? And that's not going to have any difficulty. Because that's going facing the outside direction. Now, I do find it easier to go out than to come in, but coming in's just okay as well. And see, that's not going to make a difference whether that's a shorter or longer, or shorter than the others. So let's come on around. And like everything, the prep work for this is what? 90% of the battle of working on it.